We're back continuing a conversation with Long Beach City Auditor Laura Doud. Laura, let's look at a couple of the audits that you've recently completed. First one on the police and fire dispatch overtime audit. What's that all about?
Well, we received a fraud hotline call that had some questions about some overtime, nighttime differential pay. So we took a look at it, and the allegations made on the call were substantiated. But in our review and analysis, as we were preparing for this audit, we saw that there was some excessive overtime within the dispatch functions. Approximately 22% of pay was in overtime. So we took a little closer look at it. And I might mention, first of all, one of the things we found is the dispatcher function position within the emergency communications centers within the city of Long Beach. That dispatcher function is really the first contact between the public and
when you call 911, you speak to a dispatcher.
Right. They have a very difficult job, and they're really the first responder.
They're screening how serious the call is and what to do.
Right, and it's multitasking as they're taking information from the public and communicating it to the proper next steps for public safety to respond. So it's high pressure, it's high stress, it's multitask. There's a lot going on within these dispatcher functions.
So overtime is a bad idea for these people that are already under a lot of stress.
So yes, what I was getting at was this audit was really more about a warning for safety reasons. We didn't want there to be more fatigue than necessary. Or
Let me ask the obvious question. Why not just hire more dispatchers?
Yeah, so that was the finding in the audit. We found that there were several dispatcher position vacancies that weren't being filled. So they were being covered by current personnel through overtime. The problem was there was a problem recruiting. There's a lengthy process. There's a lot of testing, background investigations that need to take place. So it was a very lengthy process, but at the same time, going back to my first point, there's a 1-year probationary period for these new dispatchers, and only 40% were able to make it through the strenuous first year of probationary period because of the high stress of a job it was. So, overall, the agency,
So are they saying that we were trying to fill it, but we just couldn't do it, or we weren't bothering to fill it? I'm not quite clear what they were or weren't doing.
They were trying to fill it, but the first problem was it took a long time. It was a lengthy process. There's testing, like I said, background.
Well, it
took forever.
That's still the case, I guess.
Yes. So now they've hired, because of our audit, they've hired outside firms to help with some of the background investigations to speed up the process. They have also improved their testing so that the testing results come back quicker, and the whole process is moving along.
So this will be a double win if implemented. Less cost to the city, less overtime, and more safety and more effective dispatchers who are not being overworked as much.
Right, and I before we leave this topic, I want to mention that again, the volume of calls that dispatchers received were approximately 1 million in the year, and it's an enormous amount and they're meeting industry standards. So I want to applaud the dispatchers for the work that they are doing, for meeting industry standards, for doing a great job. Our whole role was just a voice of warning. Not be careful about how much overtime you get. We want them to be alert and awake.
No, it's a very important job, and when there are well-publicized incidents in cities all over America, the media will play the call to the dispatcher, and it's amazing how effective they normally are in getting to the bottom of what's needed. Okay, let's turn to technology, best practices report, and e-government capability, including your My Auditor mobile application.
Great. Yes, I'm very excited about this. As our mayor, one of his, I'm not the mayor, but Mayor Garcia, as you know.
Big on technology.
Big on technology. And when he first came into office, technology was a huge priority for him. He established the Technology and Innovation Commission. He now has an Innovation I-Team that he has working within the city. So I think it's wonderful. I mean, we know technology is exploding everywhere, yes. And he is doing a great job trying to help Long Beach be out in front on some of this cutting-edge technology.
It's helpful to have a younger mayor.
Yes, it is.
With regard to these technology things.
So we thought that we would do, a benchmark study to see what other cities are doing in their technology and how the city of Long Beach could improve. Because every day we don't do something, we're falling more and more behind.
Now, is that study ongoing or is it completed now?
Our study is completed.
And what did you find?
Okay. We found that, first of all, the city of Long Beach is not doing bad. We have a lot of online services available for the public. You could pay, fines and fees, and you can get your library cards, and you register for Parks and Recs classes. You can do a lot of stuff online.
Which we could not do before these changes.
And that's wonderful. It is really wonderful, but it's not cutting edge anymore. Yeah. We're in 2015, and we're on to the next thing. Now it's all about mobile apps. I mean, there's an acronym we found that most people have. Yes, that's right. It's the new technology. Really, is the acronym is SMAC. S is for social media, M is for mobile apps, A is for analytics, and C is for cloud. And so, of course, the social media part, we all know about how a lot of people are getting their news from social media, and it's very widespread and wonderful. The mobile apps, most people have mobile apps, so
you can communicate with the mobile app.
Yes, and it's no longer done by calling anymore. It's about tapping a screen.
And I know you have a fraud hotline, and we're putting the number up for the fraud hotline at the end of each segment. But is your mobile app able to access that fraud hotline?
Yes, and that's one of the main purposes why we established the mobile app, to make it easier for people to report fraud within the city. You don't have to call in anymore. You can tap a screen. It's much easier.
It's Dick Tracy time. We got a problem, Houston, but we have to wrap up this segment, and we'll be back with more of our show after these messages.